My ex-husband Tom and his rich buddies recently started a twisted game. The bankruptcy challenge. The rules? Fake going broke for a month. The goal? To test the loyalty of their girlfriends. To make it look legit. Their friends and family were all in on it. They even installed a new owner at their companies. Tom, wearing a $5 t-shirt and a construction hat, confidently went to find the woman he loved most. Instead of sympathy, his precious Chloe screamed at him and had security throw him out like trash. And he sat on the curb for a long time before his trembling fingers dialed another number. "Sarah, I'm broke."
"I'm homeless."
A soft, childish voice answered from the other end. "Daddy, don't be scared. You can sleep in my room." When Tom called, I was in the kitchen frosting a cake. My 4-year-old daughter, Lily, was playing Roblox on my phone and picked up immediately. I don't know what he said, but suddenly Lily's face lit up. She ran into the kitchen, losing a slipper on the way. "Mommy, good news. Daddy went bankrupt. He can come to my birthday party this year." "Bankrupt?" I looked at the phone. The contact name was still ex-husband. The last time Tom called was Christmas. Only contacted me on holidays, usually to drag me to his parents' mansion, to play the happy couple and keep the old folks calm. But the second we walked out the door, he dropped my hand like it was toxic and speed off to comfort Chloe. I'd watch him drive away, the back seat piled high with designer gifts, passenger seat filled with red roses. I'd stand there in the cold wind, clutching the $2,000 performance fee he threw at me. I wasn't sad. Why would I be? That was 6 months of rent for me and Lily. Hearing he was broke, my only thought was, why isn't he calling his precious Chloe? Why call me? We hated each other. Tom's voice was cautious. "Sarah, I have nowhere to go. I haven't eaten all day. Can I crash at your place?" I opened my mouth to say no, but Lily tugged on my skirt. Big, grape-like eyes were wide, filled with hope and pleading. "Mommy, please let Daddy spend my birthday with me. Just this once." All the other kids had their dads. I looked down and my heart broke a little. I knew Lily craved a father's love. Tom actually liked Lily. I used to take her to Disney World, buy her princess dresses, and get her those expensive blind box sets. But one day, Lily came home slumped over, saying she would never bother Daddy again. I dropped my spatula and stormed over to his villa. With the arm strength of a woman who washed 1,000 dishes a day, I clapped Chloe silly. I shoved her face into the toilet to rinse out that filthy mouth of hers. After that, Tom never asked to see Lily again. But today was Lily's birthday. She just wanted her parents together. I sighed.
"Tom,
"Lily misses you. Come over for dinner." On the other end, he exhaled. It was the sound of a man who just realized he wasn't completely alone in the world. "You guys still live at the Grandview, right?" "I'm on my way." I blinked.
what?
"Where is that?" "I've never been there." I rented an apartment in the Garden District. It was close to Lily's preschool. Downstairs was a street full of food trucks. At night, we could hear drunk karaoke from the bar across the street, and the Roach spray truck drove by on schedule. It was a far cry from the luxury high-rise Tom mentioned. Tom went silent for a moment, then asked for my current address. Even wearing clothes from a discount bin, Tom still looked like money. The moment he walked in, Lily tackled his legs. Tom patted her head affectionately, but as he scanned our small 2-bedroom apartment, his eyes went cold. "You let my daughter live in a place like this?"
Pose de midi pour.
The apartment was clean, decorated in a warm, minimalist style. Everything from the appliances to the cartoon rug was handpicked by Lily and paid for by me. No matter how hard things got, I never let Lily feel poor. But Tom walked in and immediately started judging.
Right.
He and Chloe lived in a 5,000 square foot mansion. Of course, this felt like a shoebox. I tossed the tea bag in the trash and pulled Lily over. "Lily, go check your room. Mommy had a birthday present in there." She squealed and ran off. My smile vanished. I glared at Tom. "A place like this? Who is begging to come here? 5 minutes ago, you're homeless now. What right do you have to judge?" Tom quickly dropped the attitude.
Right.
He was supposed to be a broke guy now, not a CEO. He sat on the sofa, looking awkward. "You misunderstood. I meant, why aren't you living in the house I gave you?" I frowned. "What house?" "When we divorced, I left with 1 suitcase and a 3-month-old Lily. The only money I had came from selling the jewelry his parents gave me." Tom's brow furrowed. "Sarah, you gave me a child. Even if I don't love you, I wouldn't let my own flesh and blood starve. I told my assistant Ben to buy you a condo and give you a huge settlement check. Do you not take it? A condo? A settlement?" This was news to me, but I quickly figured it out. I didn't get a dime. "Are you trying to scam me now that you're broke?" Tom leaned forward, regret swirling in his eyes. Sarah, I would beg on the streets before I scammed you. In this world, the person I wrong the most is you. Our history reads like a bad soap opera. My father saved Tom's father's life, but died doing it. Tom's family adopted me when I was 8. His dad treated me like a daughter. His mom loved my quiet nature. Tom, 2 years older, was big brother who protected me. He fought off bullies. He took me to the zoo. He did everything to help me get over my grief. And I buried my crush on him in my diary. Sarah loves Tom. Does Tom love Sarah? Senior year of college, I got my answer. Tom proposed. I was overjoyed. I thought he loved me back. We got married at the courthouse for $35. I didn't know. Tom's dad had given me 10% of the company's shares as a dowry, but forced Tom to start from the bottom in the mailroom. Tom didn't marry me. He married a shortcut to the good life. After the wedding, I lived in a fantasy. I cooked for him, ironed his shirts, picked him up drunk from parties. But while I was pregnant, he cheated on me with an intern.
Chloe.
She was 6 months older than me. He said Chloe understood him. She was his soulmate. They were true love.
He.
He said his feelings for me were just sibling affection. Tom's dad saw right through Chloe. He called her a gold digger and banned her from the family. So Tom came up with a compromise.
He wouldn't divorce me.
He needed me to pacify his parents. But he would give Chloe everything a wife gets, except the marriage certificate. That day, 10 days after Lily was born, I snapped. The docile Sarah, who let Tom walk all over her, grabbed a fruit knife and stabbed herself in the stomach. Marrying Tom was my mistake. I was young, stupid, and love-blind. He cheated. He treated me like a maid. I deserved that for being dumb. But I would die before I let him ruin my daughter. Blood everywhere. Tom froze. He was panicked, terrified, guilty. He pressed his hands on my wound, shaking. Sarah.
Don't die.
I was stubborn. If he didn't agree to a divorce and give me full custody, I would kill myself. If they saved me, I'd do it again until I was dead. If I died, his father would destroy Chloe to save his mistress. Tom signed the papers the day I left. He had a condition. We had to hide the divorce. I had to pretend to be his wife in front of his parents on holidays. I said fine, but I charged him $2,000 a pop. Tom, the man who wouldn't touch me. If I was the last woman on earth to pay me to show up. He lost his temper. Do you have no feelings for me at all? Do you love money that much?
Fine.
I won't give you a cent of the settlement. I'll wait until you're starving and come crawling back to beg me. He kept his word that economic compensation in the divorce agreement. Never saw a penny. I was broke, yes, but I stood on my own 2 feet. I never begged him once. Remembering this, Tom rubbed his temples. That was just angry talk. You were a single mom. How could I really leave you with nothing? Your angry talk was my reality for 4 years.
Tom choked. He.
I looked around the apartment again. It wasn't cheap, but it wasn't rich. Chloe wore socks that cost $500. I was wearing a t-shirt I bought 4 years ago. Tom pulled out his phone and called his assistant, Ben. Mr. Tom. Sir? Is there something you need? Ben wasn't used to the new boss yet. Tom's voice dropped, carrying his old authority. 4 years ago, the condo at the Grandview and the $10 million settlement check. Do you give them to my ex-wife personally? $10 million? That would have set me and Lily up for life.
Ben hesitated.
Well, Miss Chloe said she would handle it. Her again? Rage boiled in my chest. Chloe already had everything. If she stole Lily's future, too, I was going to destroy her. At 7 p.m., I brought out a Shaun the Sheep cake. The Shaun the Sheep cake sat between us, its frosting slightly melting in the humid July heat of the apartment. It wasn't perfect. One of the sheep looked a bit like a deformed cloud, but Lily looked at it as if it were a Michelin star masterpiece. Make a wish, Mommy. Make a wish, Daddy. Lily chirped, oblivious to the nuclear bomb Tom had just dropped in the middle of our living room. $10 million. The number echoed in my head, bouncing off the peeling beige wallpaper. $10 million and a condo. While I was scrubbing toilets at the bakery to pay for Lily's antibiotics during her bout of pneumonia last winter, Chloe had been sitting on $10 million that belonged to my daughter. I looked at Tom. His face, usually a mask of arrogance, was pale. He was gripping his phone so hard his knuckles were white. He looked at me, then at Lily, and I saw something shatter behind his eyes. Sarah, he started, his voice cracking. Not now, I whispered, my voice steel. Blow out the candles, Tom. For her. Tom took a shaky breath. He leaned in, the glow of the number 4 candle illuminating the sweat on his forehead. We blew it out together. Yay! Lily clapped, chocolate smudged on her chin. Daddy cut the cake. The biggest piece for you, because you're poor now. Tom flinched. He took the plastic knife I handed him. His hand trembled as he sliced into the sponge. He wasn't the CEO of Sterling Corp right now. He was a man realizing he had let a viper nest in his bed while his wife and child lived in a roach spray zone. We ate in relative silence. Lily filled the void, chattering about Roblox and how her friend Emily's dad could lift a whole table. Tom listened intently, answering every question with a gentleness I hadn't seen since we were teenagers. Once Lily was asleep, clutching a stuffed bear Tom had won her from a claw machine years ago, the atmosphere in the living room shifted from warm to frigid. Tom sat on my lumpy thrift store couch, his long legs cramped. Ben confirmed it, Tom said, his voice low and dangerous. The transaction records. Chloe forged your signature. She opened a shell account under a name similar to yours. The condo was sold 2 months after purchase. She liquidated everything. I stood by the window, watching the neon sign of the bar across the street flicker. BZZT, BZZT. I worked 3 jobs, Tom, I said softly. When Lily needed braces, I sold my grandmother's ring. When the car broke down, I walked 4 miles to work in the rain for a month. I turned to face him, and your girlfriend was wearing my settlement on her wrist. I'm going to kill her, Tom said. It wasn't a scream. It was a statement of fact. He stood up, reaching for his jacket. I'm going over there right now. I'm ending this charade. I'll ruin her. Sit down, I commanded. Tom paused, surprised by the authority in my voice. Sarah, she stole. If you go there now, shouting and screaming, she'll hide the money. She'll spin a story to the press about how the bankrupt ex-husband is violent. She'll play the victim, and she'll get away with half of it. I walked over to the table and picked up the dirty cake plates. You're playing a game, right? The bankruptcy challenge. Tom nodded slowly.
Yeah.
To test loyalty. Well, the test isn't over, I said, a cold smile touching my lips. Chloe thinks you're broke. She thinks you're trash. She thinks I'm a destitute nobody she already defeated. I looked Tom in the eye. Let's give her exactly what she wants. You're going to stay broke, Tom. You're going to live here, on this lumpy couch. And we are going to gather every scrap of evidence until we can bury her so deep she'll need a map to find hell. Living with Tom was weird. For the first week, the bankruptcy challenge became a reality for him. He had no access to his main accounts, part of the rules he set for himself to make it authentic, and since Chloe had kicked him out, he had nothing but the cash in his wallet. I made him work for his keep. You want breakfast? I asked on Tuesday morning, stepping over his sleeping form on the rug. Eggs are in the fridge. Skillet is in the sink. Wash it first. Tom, the man who hadn't washed a dish since 1999, groaned. But he did it. He stood in my tiny kitchen, wearing a I love New York t-shirt I'd bought him from the discount bin, scrubbing dried grease. The real shift, however, happened with Lily. He walked her to preschool every morning. The first day, he tried to hide his face, ashamed of his construction hat and worn jeans. But when Lily proudly introduced him to her teacher, "This is my daddy. He lives with us now." Tom straightened up. He fixed the leaky faucet in the bathroom. He re-glued the peeling wallpaper. He learned that a gallon of milk cost $4.50, not whatever. One evening, I came home from the bakery, exhausted, my apron covered in flour. I found Tom sitting at the kitchen table with my laptop. "What are you doing?" I asked, dropping my bag. "Auditing," he murmured, not looking up. "I still have back-end access to the company servers through a backdoor Ben set up." "Sarah, it's worse than the settlement." I pulled up a chair. "How much?" "She's been siphoning vendor payments. Kickbacks from contractors. She used the power of being the future Mrs. Sterling to intimidate junior accountants." He turned the screen to me. "She's embezzled nearly $15 million from the company over the last 3 years. My dad, if he knew." Tom put his head in his hands. "I let this happen. I was so busy being the big man, driving fast cars and ignoring you, that I let a parasite eat my legacy." I reached out, hesitating for a moment, before placing a hand on his shoulder. "We have the records now. Most of them. But I need one thing. The physical ledger. Ben says she keeps a black notebook in the safe at the villa. It has the offshore account codes. Without those, we can't recover the money." "The villa," I said, looking around my small apartment. "The one you used to live in."
Yeah.
"The code is still my birthday. But I can't just waltz in. Security is tight, and she has new guards." I looked at the construction hat sitting on the counter. "You can't waltz in as Tom Sterling, CEO. But you might be able to get in as Tom Sterling, the beggar." The plan was humiliating. It was dangerous. And it was perfect. 2 days later, Tom showed up at the gates of his own mansion. He hadn't shaved in a week. We'd rubbed some dirt on his face. He looked wrecked. I waited in a beat-up sedan down the street, watching through binoculars. Tom buzzed the intercom. "Chloe?
Please.
It's Tom. I just need a jacket. It's cold." The gates didn't open. Instead, Chloe walked out. She looked stunning in a red silk dress, a dress bought with my daughter's money. She stood on the other side of the gate, looking at Tom with pure disgust. "You have some nerve coming here," she sneered. "Security. Chloe, baby, please," Tom pleaded, dropping to his knees. It was an Oscar-worthy performance, fueled by genuine rage. "I have nothing. Sarah's place is a dump. I just need a little cash. I know you loved me once." "Loved you?"
Chloe laughed. It was a sharp, jagged sound.
"I love the black card, Tom. I love the clout. Now look at you. You're pathetic." "Just let me in to get my watch," Tom begged. "The Patek Philippe. It's in the safe. You can keep the rest." Chloe's eyes lit up.
Greed.
It was always her weakness. She knew that watch was worth $200,000. If he was desperate enough to just ask for that, she could probably take it from him after he opened the safe.
"Fine," she spat.
5 minutes. Then I'm calling the cops. The gate buzzed open. I held my breath.
He was in.
10 minutes passed. Then 15. My heart was hammering against my ribs. If she caught him looking for the notebook? Suddenly, the side gate flew open. Tom sprinted out. He wasn't limping or begging anymore. He was running like a linebacker. "Hey!" Chloe's voice shrieked from the porch. "Stop him. He stole the..." Tom dove into the passenger seat of my car. "Go.
Go.
Go." I slammed on the gas, the tires of my beat-up Honda screeching as we peeled away. "Did you get it?" I demanded, swerving around a delivery truck. Tom pulled a small black notebook from his jacket. He was breathing hard, but he was grinning. A wild, terrifying grin. "I got it. And I grabbed this, too." He opened his hand. It was my grandmother's diamond necklace. The one I had been forced to sell to a pawn shop 4 years ago.
"How?"
I stared at him, tears pricking my eyes. "She bought it," Tom said, his voice softening. "She tracked down the pawn shop records and bought it just to have a trophy of your misery. It was sitting on her vanity." He fastened it around my neck. His fingers lingered for a second too long. "It belongs to you, Sarah. Everything does." The bankruptcy challenge was scheduled to end on Friday. The board of directors was meeting to officially oust Tom as part of the fake scenario and install the new, acting CEO, a puppet Chloe thought she had under her thumb. We walked into the Sterling Corp Tower at 9 a.m. Tom had shaved. He was wearing his best suit, one I had kept in the back of my closet for 4 years, just in case. I walked beside him, wearing a sharp navy blazer and heels, holding the black notebook. The receptionist gasped, "Mr. Sterling?" But security said, "I'm unbankrupting myself, Linda," Tom said smoothly, striding past the turnstiles. We took the elevator to the top floor. The doors opened to the conference room. Chloe was sitting at the head of the table, sipping sparkling water. She looked like the cat who had eaten the canary, the cream, and the entire dairy farm. "I'm afraid Tom won't be joining us," Chloe was saying to the confused board members. "He's currently indisposed. Mentally unstable. It's tragic, really." "Is it?" Tom's voice boomed. Chloe dropped her glass. It shattered on the mahogany table. Tom walked in, radiating power. I followed, placing the black notebook on the table with a heavy thud. "Tom," Chloe stammered, her face draining of color. You're supposed to be
poor."
Tom smirked. "I was. For a month. It was very educational. I learned how to budget. I learned how to fix a sink. And I learned that my fiancé is a thief." "He's lying," Chloe shrieked, standing up. "He's having a breakdown." Security. "Sit down, Chloe," the chairman of the board, an old friend of Tom's father, said quietly. He was looking at the projection screen where Ben had just uploaded the contents of a notebook. Spreadsheets. Offshore accounts.
Dates.
Signatures. "This is the record of the settlement you stole from my wife," Tom said, pointing at the screen. "And this is the $15 million you stole from this company." Chloe looked around the room. She saw no sympathy, only shock and anger. I did it for us, Tom," she tried, pivoting desperately. "To save money. For us." Tom laughed. "You left me on a curb. You let my daughter live in a place where roach trucks are the alarm clock. You're done, Chloe." 2 police officers stepped into the room. Ben had called them an hour ago. As they handcuffed Chloe, she started screaming, hurling curses at me. "You think he loves you?" she spat at me as they dragged her out.
"He's just using you. He'll get bored again."
"You're just the charity case." The doors closed, silencing her. The room was quiet. Tom looked at the board members. "I'll be taking my chair back now," he said. "And Sarah? Sarah will be taking a seat on the board." I blinked. "I will." "You own 10% of the shares plus the settlement interest," Tom said, looking at me with a seriousness I'd never seen. "You're the second largest shareholder in this room. And unlike me, you actually know the value of $1. The aftermath was chaotic, but efficient. Chloe was denied bail due to flight risk, thanks to the offshore accounts. The scandal hit the news, but Tom spun it perfectly, a CEO rooting out corruption to protect the company's integrity. A week later, I was in the kitchen of the apartment. We hadn't moved back to the mansion yet. Lily didn't want to leave her school friends. There was a knock on the door. It was Tom. He held a large envelope. "The check," he said, placing it on the counter. $10 million. Plus interest. Plus an inconvenience fee I added from my own personal accounts. "It's $15 million, Sarah." I looked at the check. It was freedom. It was Lily's future. It was a bakery of my own.
"Thank you," I said.
"And the divorce papers," Tom said, his voice tight. "I had the lawyers draw up new ones. Full custody for you. Alimony. Child support. You sign this, and you never have to see me again." He pushed the papers toward me. He looked defeated. He had won the war, but he assumed he had lost the family. "I failed you, Sarah," he whispered. "I failed Lily. I can't fix 4 years of neglect with a check." I looked at the papers. Then I looked at the living room, where Lily was drawing a picture. It was a drawing of 3 stick figures holding hands. I picked up the check and put it in my pocket. Then I picked up the divorce papers. "You're right," I said. "You can't fix it with a check." I ripped the papers in half. Tom's head snapped up. "Sarah? We are divorced, Tom. We have been for years. I don't need these papers to tell me that." I tossed the scraps into the trash. "But Lily needs her dad. And frankly, you're not terrible at doing the dishes." I crossed my arms. "I'm not moving back into that mansion. It has bad memories. And I'm not getting back together with you. Not yet. You want to be in our lives? You earn it.
You court me.
You date me. You treat me like the prize you didn't realize you had." Hope, bright and terrifying, flared in Tom's eyes.
"I can do that," he said.
"I'll buy a place near here.
No, interrupta.
You'll stay in the guest room.
For now.
You have a lot of bedtime stories to catch up on." Tom smiled. It wasn't the confident smirk of a billionaire. It was the grateful smile of a man who had been given a second chance he didn't deserve.
"Deal," he said.
"And Tom, yeah, you owe me $2,000 for this conversation." Tom laughed, a genuine, hearty sound. He pulled out his wallet, put on my tab. I watched him walk into the living room. Lily screamed, "Daddy," and tackled him. As he swung her around, I touched the diamond necklace at my throat. The money was in the bank. The witch was in jail. And the broke construction worker in my living room was finally learning how to build something real.